When it came to my wardrobe, I used to think more is better. More clothes equals more options equals a happier me, right? Well, it turns out it didn't work like that. This habit of over shopping brought me a wardrobe stuffed with clothes that I didn't truly need. I was wearing probably about 20% of them anyway, and the other 80% were there just in case. Until I started decluttering. It all got lighter. It was easier to find my favorite pieces. It was easier to get dressed in the morning. Laundry got faster. And opening my wardrobe started to put a smile on my face rather than a frown. If you're also struggling, here are 15 things your wardrobe doesn't need. And you can probably declutter today. Clothes you haven't worn in a year. I do like to use the 6-6 rule here. If it's an item I haven't worn in the past 6 months and I don't really see myself using it for the next 6 months, then it's probably an item that can go. And I like this rule because it does account for seasons as well. If you live in a 4-season country like myself, then you obviously need a bit of variety, like thinner clothes, and then also thicker jumpers and coats, things like that. But this is a rule I find really helpful to follow. Duplicate items. I find that if I've got a lot of duplicates, I usually tend to gravitate towards 1 or 2 of those. So when it comes to white t-shirts, I do have a few of them, slightly different fits, but it's really helpful to ask myself, if I have duplicates, do I actually wear all of them, or do I have one favorite that I wear all the time and the other ones are just sitting there? When I realized that, I actually got rid of a lot of duplicates that I wasn't really wearing. Clothes that don't fit. This is a hard one to get rid of sometimes because we feel like, especially if we're moms and we are in that postpartum period. I've had my baby over a year and a half ago, and I know that feeling of wanting to hold on to a lot of items that we had pre-pregnancy that maybe will fit into one day, but sometimes having those items in our wardrobe can make us feel really bad about ourselves, can make us feel like, we're not getting there fast enough. It can make us feel like failures. So it's really up to us to figure out, is this affecting me or not? And if it is, it's a good idea to get those items out of your wardrobe. And if there's anything that doesn't fit you right now, either declutter it completely, sell it, donate it to somebody else, or maybe keep it in a decide later bin, just somewhere that's out of sight so you don't really see it every single day, and have it there in your wardrobe every day, making you feel bad about yourself. Then any trendy pieces you don't really like. I have found in the past that I have bought items because they were on trend. I thought they were really cool because, you see them all over social media. But then I realized actually when I put them on me, I didn't really like them that much, or I'm just not wearing them that much because for some reason they just don't fit my style, or they just don't make me feel good. So that was a good reminder for me to let go of those items, and just because it's trendy doesn't mean it suits me. Then any shoes that hurt your feet. I'm quite flexible on other rules, but this one is a hard rule for me. If there's anything that hurts my feet, rubs my feet, feels uncomfortable, feels too tight, anything like that has to go. Like, life is too short to have uncomfortable shoes, especially when you're a mom running after a toddler. So all of those shoes had to go from my wardrobe. Then any items that I was keeping just for sentimental reasons. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of them completely. Maybe there's a special piece of clothing that you do want to keep. Maybe it's worth keeping it in a memory box or somewhere where you keep those special sentimental items. But it's also worth having a container or a limit on those, because if we keep wardrobes full of clothes just because they remind us of a certain time in our life, that can get really overwhelming really fast. So if there is something special, I do think it's worth holding on to that, maybe in a special place, but not necessarily in your daily wardrobe. For me, when I open my daily wardrobe, I want to see items that I can wear every single day, or almost every day, because that is what makes getting dressed in the morning really easy. Fabrics that are high maintenance and inconvenient to you. I am getting rid of this jumper. As much as I love it, it's a really beautiful one. It's a Cezanne Gaspard cardigan, which are very popular. They're quite expensive. I got mine a while ago and I have worn it, but I had 2 of them. One was a black one and I accidentally put it in the wash and it got shrunk and ruined. And I realized I'm not in a stage of life with, busy with young children to actually have laundry items that need extra care. I am just not in that phase of life at the moment. So, we go through seasons of life. Sometimes we have more time for these things, sometimes we don't. And I'm in one of those seasons where I just just cannot handle the extra maintenance. So I'm going to sell this because it's a beautiful jumper and I feel like somebody will take really good care of it and enjoy it, whereas I am very likely to ruin it at some point. You know, those alpaca wool jumpers or those really special care items, of course they can be beautiful, but it's also about realizing if I actually have the capacity at the moment to care for them and to maintain them looking nice. And while we're talking about this, any items that are very worn out, shrunk in the wash, that was me, anything that's stretched out, anything that has holes in, any items like that can go. I used to say, oh, I'll keep this as a pajama or I'll keep it as just lounging around the house. But I already had loungewear. I already had a bunch of pajamas. I didn't need extras of those either. So for me, it was just a good idea to get rid of those. Clothes that still have tags on. If you look in your wardrobe and you have items that you bought weeks ago, months ago, and they still have the tag on, do yourself a favor, take a picture, put it up on Vinted, and just get rid of it. When we don't wear items like that, it is for a reason. Even if we consciously don't always realize it, either it makes us feel uncomfortable or it doesn't fit our lifestyle. For whatever reason, that item doesn't fit us. So it's just a good idea to get rid of that and make room for the items that you do really love. Then formal wear that you don't actually need. I have kept a couple of bits for like formal wear, special occasions like that, but I don't really attend a lot of events like that in this current season of life, and so for me it's not worth keeping a lot of those items in my wardrobe. And it's a really good idea to ask yourself, you know, if you do have a need for those items, if you do actually wear them, if you do have a lot of events, and if you don't, then maybe it's a good idea to get rid of some of those, or maybe even keep them stored separately in a special bin for that, you know, once a year when you do have a need for those items. And going along with this, any clothes that don't match your current lifestyle. We've all been there. We've bought those items that are cute on the hanger, that look lovely in the shop, but then you get home and you realize, actually, I'm a mom going to soft plays a lot with my toddler. I don't really have anywhere to wear this trendy, cute item. So anything that didn't match my current lifestyle had to go from my wardrobe. Any gifts that you never liked or you very rarely wear. When it comes to gifts, there can be quite a lot of guilt attached because, you know, somebody who loves us gave us a gift and then we feel like we're ungrateful if we get rid of it. I realized I didn't need to hold on to those items just because somebody gave them to me. It doesn't mean you love that person any less. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate the gift. I'm sure you already said thank you for the gift to them. And so now you have permission to let go of that item if it no longer serves you. And maybe somebody else would enjoy that item even more. Any clothes that make you feel insecure or uncomfortable. I have bought these in the past, you know, those items that I really like them in the shop, but then I put them on me and it just doesn't feel right, or it doesn't flatter your body, or it's just uncomfortable on you. I realized for all of those items, there's no point in keeping them in my wardrobe because I'm obviously not going to wear them if they don't make me feel good. And the whole point here is to have a wardrobe full of items that you love, make you feel good about yourself. And if I go out in one of those items that makes me feel insecure, it's gonna affect my confidence levels, it's gonna affect how I feel throughout the day. Why would I do that to myself? So all of those items have to go from our wardrobes. Also, any items that we're keeping just because of the sunk cost. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. Because we've already paid that money or invested in an item, we feel like we have to get our money's worth, right? We are very loss averse. So it's really hard for us to accept sometimes that that money is gone, but that's the reality. Once we purchase that item, the money is gone. The only way to avoid that is to be more intentional with our shopping. But once that item is in our wardrobe, just keeping it there doesn't get our money back. What might get our money back is maybe try to sell it, not the entire amount, but maybe a tiny bit. And even if not, then maybe we can just donate it to somebody who can actually use it. I really needed to remind myself that simply keeping it in there is not going to get my money back. Excessive loungewear. I know I used to have loads of these loungewear or pajamas or things like that because yes, they're cozy, they're cute, but we don't really need a lot of them. So that's one thing that's usually quite easy to declutter as well. Let me know if this resonated with you and if you have any items like this that you're looking to declutter. The way you feel in the morning getting dressed is going to completely change, and I think that's going to make for a happier you.